Today we have to listen Dutiya Mitta Sutta, second Mitta Sutta from Anguttara Nikaya, Chattoka Nipada. In this sutta, it describes the manner of contemplating vipassana meditation. After arising from the jhana, what is contemplated is on rupa and vedana, etc., as and when they occur at the moment of his absorption in jhana. Mittasa katina citasa paritva viharati so yadeva datta hoti rupagata vedanagata dedame samanupasati, etc. It is something which is similar to what the Vipassana yogis are contemplating and noting as seeing, hearing, or imagining. After the arising consciousness of what is seen, heard, or imagined. Hodva abhavagaro. Hodva abhavagaro anicca lakkhana. What is anicca lakkhana? Vanishing after occurrence is the characteristics of anicca. What is dukkha lakkhana? Impermanent are the five aggregates which are in reality dukkha suffering. A yogi who is continuously contemplating on the arising phenomena of mind and body process perceive the formation or arising of new aggregates following instantaneously without appreciable interval upon the dissolution of the old one. And what is Anatta Lakkhana? What is Anatta? The five khandhas, the five aggregates, being ungovernable, are Anatta. So yogi observe the five aggregates as anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanent, suffering, and non-self, etc. Today we need to listen these characteristics. The teaching of anatta is the most distinctive feature of the Buddha's teaching. Anatta is the most difficult to understand, the most misunderstood. The Buddha appeared at the time when most people strongly believed in the existence of an inborn entity called Atta in Pali. Almost all other faiths believe in one kind of Atta or another, but the Buddha appeared and he taught that there is no Atta, no self. There are only the five aggregates, And these five aggregates are not self, anatta. In order to understand anatta, non-self, first we need to understand atta, which in the time of the Lord Buddha was seen as different things, as a master, as one who lives somewhere permanently, as an active person, and as one who fully experiences both joy and suffering. According to these views, there is also something called an atta self, or soul residing in one's body, and this attas is a master. It is master of itself and it is master of the body. There are people who think that they are master of themselves. They do what they want to do, what they want to say, they say. They eat what they want to eat and go where they want to go. If they really think they are master of themselves, they should try practicing vipassana meditation for a few minutes, and they can see if they can keep their mind and body on the object of meditation. Then they would really see if they are master of themselves. Their mind will wander off quite often and not stay where their owners want them to stay. Faced by these five aggregates, there is this helplessness in us. Although we think that we can think of whatever we want to think, if we try to train our mind on one object, we see that we are not master of ourselves. We are at the mercy of our mind. And so the sense of anatta, non-self, no atta manifests itself to us when we try to practice vipassana meditation. Then we know with certainty that we are not master of ourselves. Actually, there is nothing that is master of the body. There are people who still think that there is something called an atta living in the body. Atta enters our body at the moment of conception or moment of rebirth, and it lives in the body for the entire life. And when we die, it will leave our body and enter a new body. The soul or atta will go on like that and never die, although the physical body will die. This is one belief in atta that many people had during the time of the Buddha. Are we really free from this notion? Some Buddhists even say something like this. They say that there is soul or atta, and that when we die, it will leave out of the body. So even Buddhists still have this belief. There is known as a belief in atta as something abiding in us permanently. Permanent, permanently here means it will change from one body to another, and it goes on without becoming impermanent. It is permanent and goes on from one life to another, one body to another. To understand this nature clearly, we need to observe meditation, we need to practice meditation very closely. There are also people who believe there is an Atta, and this Atta does everything we do. When we do something, it is not we who do the actions, but the Atta. Whatever we do is actually the actions of Atta. There is one view of Atta. There is another view that it is Atta that experiences or enjoys or suffers. When we enjoy something, it is not we who enjoy, but the Atta that enjoys. And when we suffer, it is the Atta that suffers. Whenever we experience anything, it is the Atta that experiences, not we. For those who believe in this way, Atta is very real. Buddha rejected all of these theories, and in his second sermon, Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, and later discourses, he taught that Rupa body is not safe, Vedana is not safe, and so on. Because he knew the truth of Anatta, the truth of non-self, he rejected the view of permanent entity, the view of Atta, the view of self. It is important that we see the Anatta nature of the aggregates of clinging and Anatta nature of mind and matter. In order to see the non-self nature of things, we need to practice Vipassana meditation urgently. Only through Vipassana meditation we can see that Rupa and others or the five aggregates are not self and not Atta, and there is no Atta in Rupa or in the five aggregates. When we practice Vipassana meditation, we watch mind and matter We watch thoughts, emotion, the breathing, the movements of the abdomen, and so on. And when our concentration and understanding becomes mature, we begin to see the object, mind and matter, or the five aggregates clearly. When we begin to see clearly, we know what they are, and then we will see them rise and fall. We will see that at every moment there is the object that is noted and the mind that notes. Yogi can find only two things at every moment of meditation. When yogi is mindful of the breathing, there is the rising of the abdomen and there is awareness. There are only these two things. There is nothing in the form of a person administering the mindfulness of the rising of the abdomen and falling of the abdomen. At such moments, yogis see only the rising of the abdomen and mindfulness of the rising of the abdomen, and there is nothing more. Yogi cannot see self there. Yogi cannot see Atta there. Only when yogis see through vipassana meditation that there is no self, there is no permanent entity involved in seeing, hearing, smelling, etc. Yogis see the nature of non-self correctly. Anatta nature or non-self nature can be seen only through the practice of vipassana meditation. When yogi practice meditation, yogi will come to see that there is no master, no such thing as a permanent abider, no such thing as a doer, no such thing as an experiencer. There is only the experience. There is only the doing. There is no doer. There is no experiencer. At every moment of any experience, yogi can see for himself that no person, no individual, no self is involved, but just the doing actions or just the experiencing action. So through vipassana, yogi come to see the non-self nature of things. There is one kind of anatta nature. There is another kind of non-self nature. It is not subject to any authority or control. When yogis see mind and matter arise and disappear, yogi knows that he cannot interfere with that process. Yogi cannot have any authority over them. Actually, we all are helpless. mind and matter just arise in despair by their own nature, by their own free will, and not at our free will. There is also an aspect of non-self, having no authority over a process. That is unsusceptible to authority. In order to know the non-self nature, we need to know three things. What is anatta, what is the characteristics of anatta, and what is anatta nupassana. What is anatta, what is non-self? Five aggregates. The same five aggregates are non-self, and the same five aggregates have no self. And also it means the five aggregates have no core. Some trees have an inner core, the heart wood, but rupa, vedana, etc. have no such core that lasts forever and is permanent. So anatta has three meanings: not atta, not subject to authority, and no core. It is not atta because atta can mean authority and core. So when we say anatta, we mean one of these three things. It is not atta, we cannot have any authority over it, or it has no core. It is called the characteristics of anatta. The fact that we cannot exercise any authority over it points to it being anatta. So what is it that is anatta? The five aggregates. What is the mark of anatta? Having no authority and also having no core or being no core. Understanding that the five aggregates are non-self through observation of the five aggregates or during the observation of the five aggregates is called anatta nupassana. Repeated seeings or repeated observation of anatta. Nibbana is also anatta because it is not atta. But Nibbana is not mentioned in this discourse. Nibbana is not mentioned in the Visuddhimagga because the context here is vipassana. When we are talking about vipassana, we do not include Nibbana because it is not an object of vipassana. Only the five aggregates of clinging can be the object of vipassana. So when we practice vipassana, we take the five aggregates of clinging as object, but we do not take Nibbana as object. The purpose of vipassana is to see the three characteristics. Nibbana has none of these three characteristics, anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So however much yogi watch Nibbana, even if you could, you will never see impermanence of Nibbana, or you will never see suffering of Nibbana. Nibbana is anatta, not self, not atta. This we must understand. When we are talking about vipassana, when we are in the context of vipassana, we leave out Nibbana simply because it cannot be object of vipassana. But if we are speaking in general about such things as what is it that is anatta, then we may speak about the five aggregates and Nibbana. Characteristics of impermanence, suffering, and non-self are called the general characteristics of all conditioned phenomena because they are found in all conditioned phenomena. That means in all aggregates, in all mind and matter. It is very important that yogis see these three characteristics because without seeing them, you cannot progress in the practice of vipassana meditation and cannot reach the stage of enlightenment. And in order to see these three characteristics, there is no other way but to practice vipassana or satipatthana meditation continuously. And yogi also need to know what conceal these characteristics, why those who do not practice meditation cannot see them, and how these concealment are broken. So we need to understand the basic about impermanence, suffering, and non-self. But actually seeing these three characteristics is not so easy. As there are certain barriers that conceal them. Visuddhimagga identifies the barriers concealing them and explain how that concealment can be broken. According to the Visuddhimagga, impermanence is concealed by continuity. The notion of continuity exists because people do not give attention to rise and fall. People do not give attention to rise and fall. So there are two factors here: continuity and failure to see the rise and fall of the aggregates, or failure to see the rise and fall of mind and matter. What is continuity? Actually, there is no continuity. It does not exist. It is only a view, a view that things are continuous. And this view concedes the characteristics of impermanence. Let us take some example. When you see something like a rope or a line in the distance, you think that it is a solid line, a solid object. But when you're getting closer to that line, you see that it is not a continuous thing. Actually, it is an army of insects, one insect following the other. On seeing that they are insects, you lose the view that it is a continuous line. What is correct? Which the first that the continuous object or just the insect? You see a line of insects as a distance, but the fact is that there is not a line. What is true is the insect, but not the line. Yet we think that it is a line of insects. Why do we think that it is a line, a continuous thing? Why do we not see it as something made of segments or individual small things? It is because we do not see the individual things. We cannot see them arising and disappearing. Suppose there is the beginning of one insect and its end is followed by the beginning of another insect, and that second insect's end is followed by the beginning of another insect, and the end of that insect is followed by the beginning of another insect, and so on. Between the insects, there are gaps. They are not connected as a solid whole. But from a distance, these gaps or breaks between the insects cannot be seen, so we think we have seen a continuous line of them. However, there really is no such thing as a line of insects. They are just insects following one after another. Where you cannot see mind and matter or parts of mind and matter as separate from one another and arising and disappearing, you may think they are a continuous flow. Although theoretically you understand that they are not continuous and are composed of small parts, if you do not meditate, if you do not really see the arising and disappearing, you will stay think in terms of one continuous thing. What do you think? Do you think your body today is one continuous process from the body yesterday? Or that you have the same body that you had yesterday? Or is it a different body at every moment material particles are arising and disappearing, but you do not see them. Only when we practice vipassana meditation, we can see them. When we see the material particles arising and disappearing, one material particle arising and disappearing, followed by another material properties, and so on. Only then we will be able to get rid of the view of continuity. In Pali, it is santati. We will be able to get rid of the view of santati, continuity. When we will realize that there is no continuous phenomenon going on, but actually small parts arising and disappearing one after another. It is the same with the mind. People think that they have the same mind that they had 10 years ago, last month, or yesterday. But through vipassana meditation, they will find that mind is new at every moment. In one moment, there is one mind or one consciousness, then that consciousness disappears and is followed by another type of consciousness, which disappear and is followed by another type of consciousness, and so on. When you listen the talk, also one hearing consciousness appear and disappear. You will realize when you can see them as separate moments falling one after another, you are able to break the view of continuity. You are able to break the view of santati in Pali. Once it is broken, you will have no sense of continuity, and the characteristics of impermanence becomes clear to you. Let us take the sheet of paper as another example. People think that they use pen and ink on the paper because it is solid. People use it to write on and wrap things up, so they assume that it is solid. They all think that way, but if they look at the sheet of paper under a powerful microscope, they see that it is an object that has more empty spaces than solid material. So which is the truth, a solid sheet of paper or something full of empty spaces? So you see a sheet of paper, but you put the paper under a powerful microscope that can magnify about 1,000 times, and you find that your view is wrong. Now you see that it is really something with a lot of empty spaces. So we needed a powerful microscope in order to see the truth. It is no longer a smooth, continuous sheet of paper. It is a things full of holes. So we may also think of the combination of mind and matter, the five aggregates, as being one whole continuous things. In meditation, no microscope, but in practicing vipassana meditation precisely, you will be able to see mind and matter as separate entities arising and disappearing. You see them closely and you see them arise and disappear at every moment. When you see them arise and disappear, you are able to break the view of continuity. So Vipassana knowledge is a powerful microscope we use to discover the characteristics of anicca, impermanence. Just as a microscope is needed to see the truth of a material sheet of paper, we need Vipassana insight knowledge in order to understand the truth of mind and matter, in order to understand the truth of aggregates, and to see their impermanent nature. So one sub-commentary said that a person who correctly sees rise and fall does not see phenomena manifest in the connected state, but rather in the state of disconnectedness, like iron ducts. You may have seen iron spikes. They are like iron ducts and they are separate one from another. To a person who practices vipassana meditation and can see the rise and fall of the aggregates, the mental and physical states no longer appear as connected, but they are separate and unconnected. When you see this disconnectedness of things, see that they are not continuous but are composed of many separate parts. You come to understand that these constantly rising and falling things are impermanent. But so long as you think that they are continuous, it is impossible to see their impermanent nature. So the view of continuity must be removed if the yogi is to see impermanence and know it to be the characteristics of the aggregates. To get rid of the view of continuity, we need to watch things. We need to see that aggregates arise and disappear. Once the arising and disappearance of the aggregates are seen, yogi will be able to rid yourself of the view of continuity. When the view is broken, the nature of impermanence manifests itself clearly to you. So you see the anicca nature, and if you see the impermanent nature, you can see also dukkha nature, suffering nature, and then you will realize the anatta nature, non-self nature. So in the Dutiya Mitta Sutta, it describes the Mitta practitioner after arising from jhana, he practiced vipassana. So we continue next week. We have to stop our discourse for today. May you practice Metta meditation, Metta bhavana. May you practice vipassana meditation together with the Metta bhavana, Metta meditation. By practicing Metta meditation and vipassana meditation continuously and meticulously, may all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future.